My name is Lucy Chow, and I'm the Secretary General for the Global Women Leaders Committee, and also a general partner with the WBAF Angel Investment Fund. Both of these organizations are part of the World Business Angels Investment Forum. We are part of the G20 for Global Partnership for Financial Inclusion. And this is made up of representatives from over 100 countries. And we come from all different walks of life in terms of stakeholders, everyone from politicians to VCs to angel investors. And our whole entire aim is to lift up and support entrepreneurs within our own countries. My husband and I are both Canadians, and so we've been very fortunate to be expats for a long time. Before coming to the UAE, we were 10 years in Hong Kong, for instance. And so 16 years ago, my husband was asked to start an office in MENA, in Dubai, and so we've been here 16 years. So if you think about the fact that the UAE, Dubai is a little bit over 50 years, we've been here for about a quarter of its life. And so I'm actually considered one of the OG angel investors. That was even before we started, before the government really focused on the startup ecosystem. So I feel that's an incredible privilege. And so that's where my journey, and that's a huge, huge milestone for me to have really been part of really bringing up and growing the entrepreneurial and startup ecosystem as the nation has also grown the sector. The most recent PitchBook data, literally it just came out last week, is really disheartening. So in the US, women founders raised only 1.9% of all VC funding in 2022. Why this is disheartening is that it's actually even less than from the year before, which was 2.4%. So this is an indicator, yes, of course, the global economy, the downturn in general is a contributor, but unfortunately, what this is also showing us is that investing, the belief that investing in solo companies with female founders is still perceived as high risk. So, Dubai has really benefited in the last few years in terms of us seeing international money coming into the region. Because obviously here, we are a huge addressable market. Investors are not only looking at the UAE or Dubai, they're looking at the entire MENA region. So that makes us very desirable. However, if you're looking again at the amount of capital going towards female founders, it is unfortunately more in the range of about 1% as of data from 2022. So we are also feeling the same impacts as female founders globally. However, again, as I mentioned earlier, I could see us trending in the right direction as we have more funding coming in internationally. And of course, there's also a belief within the funders in the region that we need to work together more collaboratively to really uplift the entrepreneurial ecosystem. When we break down why is it that female founders are still getting so little of the funding pie in 2022, 2023, for instance, it's a fact that female investors are twice as likely to invest in female founders than their male counterparts. So what does that mean? What are some of the tangible actions that can be taking place? It means that we need to try to get more women into those sort of decision-making roles, whether it's getting them to be more like GPs and VCs, angel investors as a start. It's important to have women on the other side of the table making decisions, because by doing that, we're going to get a different perspective on the investment landscape, on deal flow, and only by moving the dial that way do I see us actually seeing a bit more of an uptake eventually with funding getting to female founders. So when we actually look and break down at the benefits of investing in women and girls, it's a fact that women control 20 trillion worth of spend. So when you invest in women and it benefits their communities, it benefits their families, there is a huge economic multiplier effect for a country. So it doesn't make sense to leave them out. So as we saw during COVID, more women stepped out of the workforce than men did because they're the primary caregivers, whether it's for children or their elderly parents. And that does have a huge knock-on negative effect for countries when we talk about economic growth. So much of my time is actually spent on advocating for diversification of investing, diversification of investors. So I'm a huge advocate of encouraging women to enter the investing and VC space. And so how should they be doing this? One is, I've already spoken about, it's important to start small, start becoming an angel. But in terms of girls that are looking at this as a career, a few pieces of advice. One is to really make sure that you bring on board male allies. Because right now, most of the decision makers are male still, but there are many male allies out there that also want the same diversification ultimately in their industry. So find yourself a male ally. And then secondly, make sure that you start honing the skills that you need to really get into investing, understanding this whole process. One way to do that is perhaps talking to as many other existing investors as possible. So using your social network. And then very importantly, find yourself a sponsor or someone that will open up opportunities for you to enter this. So not a coach or a mentor, a sponsor. So someone, and actually one of the best ways of really describing a sponsor is someone that would say your name in a room full of opportunities.